If you're building a brand right now, you're probably asking yourself this question: do I launch on social media first or do I build my website first? I'm not going to waste your time. The truth is, you need both. But the order in which you build them actually matters. And whichever you choose to build first depends tremendously on your industry, your brand, and what you're trying to accomplish. In this video, I'm going to break down the real benefits of each social media and website, and I'll walk you through exactly when it makes sense to choose one over the other. By the end, you'll know which move is right for your brand right now. Let's get into it. Part one, the benefits of social media. Let's start with social media because for most brands, this is where the conversation begins. The obvious benefit of social media is reach. Through social media, you have the opportunity to reach people that you may not otherwise reach if you're only focused on SEO. But beyond reach, social media gives you an opportunity to tell your story to your audience in infinite ways that are relatable to them, as long as you stick to your audience, of course. Once you identify who your audience is and they start finding your content organically, don't confuse them by veering away from content that helped them find you in the first place. I'm all for experimenting because, of course, it's necessary, but within reason. Part two, the benefits of a website. Now, let's talk about your website because the benefits go way beyond a static post. Yes, there's CEO, but here's the thing. It can be much harder to find your audience with a website alone. One of the biggest benefits of having a website is that you can showcase your products right away. Rather than making your audience navigate through all of your social media posts, a website gives them a direct line to who your brand actually is. The other major benefit, and this one is non-negotiable, is that a website is an owned channel. Over the years, we've shifted away from owned channels like blogs, email marketing lists, toward relying solely on social media to promote our businesses. That has proven to be fickle, to say the least. We all know that social media platforms never stay the same, and they even disappear overnight. Hello, Vine. So that's why owning your domain is an absolute must and the most secure way to run your business long term. This matters even more if you're selling anything. If that's you, make sure your website has the capability to sell, whether that's digital products, physical products, or services. So yes, both social media and your website channels matter. The real question is which one you build first, and that depends on a few key factors. Quick pause. If you're a brand owner or creative trying to build a strategy that actually makes sense for your business, go ahead and hit subscribe. Okay, back to it. Part three, when to start with one over the other. So how do you decide what to build first? It comes down to a few things: your launch timeline, your industry, and how many products you're actually selling. If you want to build hype before launching your brand, social media is usually your starting point. I once worked with a liquor brand that wanted to build that hype leading up to a soft launch. They started a social media presence while the product was still in concept, long before it was even production ready. And once the product got closer to production, we launched our website along with an email list, so early followers could be first in line when the product actually dropped. In other cases, you'll want to build your website first. And once your social media accounts go live, you'll launch fully rather than taking your audience along for the ride. This obviously depends heavily on your industry and market. If you're building an e-commerce brand, for example, I'd recommend having your website and products ready before launch. There's a case for a countdown page on your website if you're not quite ready to launch, but you want to build that brand awareness. Just know that that can get tricky if you run into shipping delays or production setbacks. Another factor in choosing whether or not to start with a website or your social media is how much you're selling. A luxury retail shop, for example, can sell directly through Instagram and run their business through one platform. But on the other hand, if you're starting a handcrafted goods brand, it makes more sense for you to lead with your website first so you can build out a full brand experience before you launch. So here's what it comes down to. Ultimately, I recommend starting with both. Which social media you choose to start with depends heavily on where your audience already is. That could be TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, LinkedIn. But the best combination is an established website paired with one social media channel where you're attracting most of your new clients. As you grow, you can expand into more platforms. Just remember that each platform functions differently, so you will have to tailor your content to each one. So to recap, social media gives you reach and story, your website gives you ownership and control, and the order in which you build them depends on your industry, your timeline, and how you sell. If this helped you think through your launch strategy, let me know in the comments what you're building. I'd love to know. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more brand strategies like this one. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!